When you created your author Instagram profile, you might have made a few mistakes that are really common. And I say mistakes loosely because we are all here to learn and grow on Instagram and sell more books on Instagram. So it's okay if any of these apply to you. That's why I'm covering 5 mistakes in this video. Welcome back to Marketing by Shelby, where I cover lots of book marketing and promotion tips for authors to learn on social media. Let's get into the first mistake. The first one is very, very common, and that is using your bio to list things about you rather than focusing on your audience. And I know it's called a bio, so you're likely inclined to list off things about yourself, and you should, but we want to tweak it so that it's directed toward our audience and our readers feel like we're speaking to them in our profile. And the reason is because whenever they come to our profile, we want them to know, okay, this is the author for me. I can see the personality, and I can also tell what emotions they want to bring out in me as the reader. And I like to think of this as a mission statement. I've talked about this in past Instagram videos, so I'm not going to cover it in too much detail in this video, but I do recommend using the word you in the first line of your bio. So this could be something like writing books that help you blank, or it doesn't need to be help, but any type of mission statement or phrase that speaks directly to that reader so that when they come to your profile, they're saying, okay, this is for me. In the other spaces on your bio, you can list off other things about you. Author of this many books. I also love this, this, this. Ideally, these are things that might connect to your genre, but they don't have to. And that leads me to mistake number 2, which is not having a call to action in your bio. So luckily on Instagram, there's a pretty good amount of character space to fill in your bio, unlike platforms like TikTok where you don't have too much space. But on Instagram, you want to have that mission statement, maybe a little bit more about you, and then that final line in your bio should be your call to action. This is what you want your followers and viewers to do. An example could be check out my new book below, where you then have your link in your bio. It could be buy my books here or find me on Amazon. So there's a few different ways you could do this. If you have a newsletter and you're trying to grow your mailing list, your call to action could be sign up for my mailing list. And remember, your bio is not permanent, so you can definitely make changes over time. Whenever you have a book launch, I recommend tweaking that language. My new book is out now. Check it out here so that it's very relevant and timely. And then, a couple months after that book release, if you want to change it to a different call to action, you certainly can do so. The third mistake is not setting up highlights on your profile. Now, this might not be something that you do right away on day 1 of creating your profile, but over the following weeks and months of creating your Instagram profile, you should be utilizing Instagram stories to talk about who you are, to promote your book. The nice thing about Instagram is that you can have that link in your stories from day 1 now. You don't need a certain number of followers like you used to. So you should be linking to your book and getting people over to Amazon or to your website to buy your book. So once those stories start to build up, you should use highlights strategically on your Instagram profile. I recommend having at least 2 highlights, one of them being an About Me highlight that has a few different slides about you and who you are as an author and what your goal is as a writer, and then having one for your books. So you could call this My Books, for example, or if you want to have one for each series of books that you have or one for each book. It could add up if you're a writer with a ton of books, but it makes it really easy for your readers to go onto your profile and find out who you are and where to find your books. So your book highlight should have something like a few slides of the cover, a short summary with a cliffhanger ideally to get people interested in it, and a link to buy your book. You might also include a couple of pictures of readers enjoying the book or a couple of pictures of book reviews from your book. So I recommend that you go in and you add your highlights to your profile and you have them updated on a regular basis to keep those strategic and updated with the most recent information about your books. That way when someone comes to your profile, they read your bio, okay, this is for me, now let me see what this person's books are all about, and they just have to click on the highlights, scroll through a couple of posts about what your book's about, and then click to buy it. So make sure in your stories and in your highlights you're including that link sticker so that people can go buy your book directly. Which brings me to my next mistake, which is not making it as easy as possible for people to find your book from your Instagram page. This is a marketing tool. We want people to find our books easily and be able to buy our product. So your link in your bio should of course be there, but it should be only 1 or 2 clicks to get to Amazon or to your website to buy your book directly. So that means if you're bringing people to a link tree, probably don't want to make them go to your website and then to the books page on your website and then to Amazon from there, right? We want to make it as easy as possible. So maybe your link tree lists out a few different stores, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, etc. Or maybe you bring them directly to your website or directly to your books page on your website where they only have to click that and then click to Amazon. Making it as easy as possible and as few clicks as possible means it's more likely people will find what they're looking for and actually buy. The next mistake is diving into posting a bunch of different things without first thinking about strategy and not thinking about the voice and the tone that you want to portray on your page, especially if it can align somewhat with your genre. Now, I don't mean you have to have this perfectly curated feed and that all of your posts are themed in the same color. I don't mean that at all. In fact, I really think that we're moving away from that themed Instagram feed. But I do think it's important to think about strategy before you start posting and being somewhat consistent with look and feel. So if you've already started posting, that's okay. Don't go delete a bunch of things, but sit down and make a list of a few different content buckets you can be posting on Instagram that are somewhat relevant to you and your book. It's perfectly okay to showcase personal things versus only just talking about your book. It can really help your readers connect with you more. So think through a couple things that you're really passionate about and how they could connect to your genre and to your books. For me, I talk about mental health a lot. I talk about book updates. I showcase my book. And those are primarily the things that I stick to. And then I use stories for more fun things like showing my pets or a day in the life type of things. But mental health and nature and my poetry is really what I focus on for the bulk of my page because they're all connected. And I also show myself and get open about self-love journey and mental health journey, things that are really related to my genre. And that might be the same for you if characters in your book go through different mental health issues, or you're writing a nonfiction memoir about mental health or something like that. You might find that that looks very similar, or it could be completely different and about the things that you are passionate about. But that being said, with this strategy, it's important to know that whenever you're scrolling through your page, you should be able to see some posts that talk about your book and what it's about. A reader shouldn't have to scroll for picture after picture to find you talking about your book. So make sure that at least a couple times a week that you are incorporating your book into your posts. A little bonus mistake for you is also not choosing a profile picture of you and instead doing a stock image or a drawing or something like that. This is a personal decision, but it has been shown time and time again that profiles with a picture of the person tend to get more engagement and more of that know, like, trust factor, which is really important when marketing to someone. If you write under a pen name and you don't want to reveal yourself, then this doesn't apply to you, and I understand that decision. But if not, you really should choose a profile picture of you for your page. Those were the 5 mistakes that I see authors making when creating their author profile page, plus a little bonus mistake for you as well. Thank you so much for watching another video. I am posting weekly with book marketing tips to help you grow as an author or writer on social media and sell more books through social media. I do have an Instagram guide step-by-step with video tutorials on how I grow my Instagram to over 100,000 followers. You can check that out. I'll link it in the description. And also all of my previous videos on social media marketing will be really helpful for you as well. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you for next week's video.